Hello and welcome to the club. I'm your host Mars, and this is the first installment of Stoppage Time, the Upper 90 Club's evergreen content series that includes storytelling and interviews surrounding the Columbus Crew. For this segment, Ben Trey and I sit down with Kyle Arnotke and Travis Lord XP. These are their Discord screen names? Handles? I don't know. I'm old. Two awesome crew fans who are also moderators of the Discordeca, the Columbus Crew Discord server. During our conversation, I learned a ton about what Discord is and how it's brought over 1,200 fans and counting together from Columbus and beyond to the Discordeca. I also got to know Kyle and Travis, who are both total X factors in cultivating the crew's online community and are bona fide soccer fanatics in general. Before we cut over to the interview, make sure you go to discord.gg/crew96 to sign up. All right, let's kick it off. Welcome, Travis, Kyle.
Hello.
Howdy. Excited to have you guys on the pod here. Welcome to the club. We are this is our first interview. So
yeah, guinea pigs.
So this is kind of new for us, but part of our entry into the podcast space is just, learning more about the community that's already out there. And I know Ben connected with you guys right around the time we got started and had great things to say. And y'all were at the top of the list for folks that we wanted to talk to. So
pat yourselves on the back. You made it.
Well, so tell us, yeah. Tell us about the Discord deck and how it got started.
And did he pronounce that right?
Yeah.
Listen, I'm pedantic about a lot of things. I think that's the one where I'm not going to be, because for years I was saying Nordecki unashamedly.
Hardy.
I think we've all been there. Discord. I think when you say that in a room in a conversation for the first time, get a lot of blank stares. The starting point I always say is it's Slack for gamers,
the cool kids.
If you don't know what Slack is, yeah, exactly. It's like Slack is usually used in professional, workspace settings. It's a chat platform where you can set channels. That sounds really stupid and obvious, but just a sort of chat client that you can use to sort of separate conversations, connect people for, in the gaming context where Discord really, I think, cut its teeth, connected gamers so they could stay connected on online gaming. Communities sort of formed around that. And for my money, at least how I got into Discord as a platform was seeing a lot of the subreddits I was on link their Discord. Discordeck being the second example I think I ever joined. I joined the Blue Jackets one first, but the crew on the Discordeck really became my home away from home. Yeah, it started, I'll let Travis talk a little bit more about some of those early days, but it started as an offshoot of r/the Massive. Its original branding was very tied to that. But as we grew over the past couple of years, especially this past year, I think has been our biggest growth year yet.
Weird. So I have a question. So are the mods for the subreddit for Massive also some of the mods are the people that are in Discordeck?
No.
Nope. Completely different.
Okay. So it started because that's where I spend my life on Reddit. It's a problem. So I get it. Totally get it.
Well, and also tell me when you started it. How long have you been doing it? 3 or 4 years, sounds like?
Well, Connor started it. Oh gosh, Travis, you might know a little bit more about that flashpoint.
He started it in April 5th, 2018.
Okay.
Oh, so it's relatively new. I thought for some reason it's been around since the internet was invented by Bob Dole or whoever.
That's right.
Okay. So Connor started it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Connor also started the Chelsea Discord server too. That's why he started this one.
Okay,
nope, I'll cut
we're
that.
done. We're done.
Yeah, we don't need that.
It's okay. Listen, we hold the pitchfork to him just as much internally as you guys are. So
good.
Definitely.
So has he? What need did that fill? Was it just kind of like hey, there's not a Discord for the crew yet. We should start this. Or like, was there a conversation that needed to be had, or people that were trying to have a conversation that had nowhere to have it? Like, how did it spin up?
I would say, I mean, that's probably initially how it did start. It was like, hey, crew doesn't have one, let's start one. Kyle and I weren't part of that decision whatsoever. We came in after that. He started on his own, and he kind of just grew from there. But
well, so how did you earn your stripes?
I talk a lot.
Good.
I have this number 2 spot on the leaderboard of chat right now. I used to be number 1, but Connor just overtook me for the first time.
That's all time,
So
right?
I just talk a lot. Yeah, it's all time.
Okay.
Yeah. And same, actually. That was that's how we got here, honestly.
Yeah, since I've joined, actually, Kyle, I don't see you too much. I see Travis on there a lot, and there's a couple other people that I'm looking at that, talk, and it just seems like everybody's friends. It's like super duper positive, and that's something I wanted to touch on. Is like when I first joined, I'd mentioned something about it was like this long rant about something, and I made a reference to the logo, me not liking the logo, and immediately Connor like downvoted me, and I hit him up, and he's just like, yeah, we don't talk, we're not really negative. And I was like, wait, what? Like, I'm on Twitter and everyone hates everybody. I'm on Reddit, everybody's racist, so I'm trying to figure out like how to navigate this specific medium. And I was like, everybody's just like this morning's a prime example. Everyone's like, hey, good morning, how everybody's doing? Oh, everybody's doing it. I was just like, ha ha ha. Okay, this is awesome. Like, this is great. Like, no one's ever this happy. These people rule. So I don't know.
Yeah.
How do you keep it? I mean, you guys are the mods. How do you keep it tight like that? Because I don't see like any problems other than me when I join.
I would say for one, knock on wood, it has been mostly easy.
Yeah.
And we've been lucky to have a lot of folks join with the intent of coming to a happier spot, happier place. And I think, again, we got lucky with when we sort of came together. Travis and I came in around the year mark of the server being a thing. And we were 2 fairly newer crew fans who wanted to find a space that wasn't sort of occupied as much yet. Like, there's the old heads on Reddit, the old heads on Twitter and Facebook and everywhere else. And that's fine. Those are, people to sort of see what's going on in the mainstream, in the crew zeitgeist, as it were. But this is a space that we were new to. And not to toot our own horns here, but I like to think that we're thoughtful individuals who just want to hang out with other thoughtful, fun individuals online. And we got lucky with that.
I want to go one step further, actually, because Kyle's the most thoughtful one. Just want to put it out there. When it comes to anyone being problematic, usually 2 or 3 of us are pretty quick to be like, we don't like this person, we should just get rid of them. But like we dial it back, and we ask Kyle. I usually ask Kyle, like, Kyle, what do you think? And he usually it gives a more thoughtful approach to it. And we usually listen to that instead, because it's we don't want to just like outright get rid of people right away. We want to give them more of a chance. So I'll just say Kyle's like the thoughtful person, or the most thoughtful person.
That's good. You're not just playing God like, that guy sucks, out of here.
I want to.
Yeah, and there's probably like there's benefits to having some fresh voices and fresh thoughts, as long as they're not like, full of toxic, toilet thoughts, right? So
yep.
Well, so I'm pretty new to Discord. I mean, we spun one up for the club here, but tell me how I can use it, or how people use it beyond just like a general discussion. How are you all using Discord Deck to make life easier, better in other ways?
Yeah. I would say it has to do with how we've built out the different channels and the different things. Like, it's a very basic housekeeping structure. There's the main crew things. Let me pull it up for reference too, so I don't completely lie to you on the record. We've got, the administrative stuff, so people can see like announcements, the rules, select roles, just to make sure that, when someone joins, actually, let's rewind to the very beginning. When you join the Discord, which is discord.gg/crew96, I'm sure you'll have it in the bio or linked wherever. It's all over. Just search crew Discord, Discord Deck, discord.gg/crew96. It's all there. But
perfect.
You come in, there's a welcome channel. It directs you to go read the rules and then select a role. And then, hey, if you want to introduce yourself, you sure can. And that's, the key part. And I think a huge reason why we haven't gotten raided, there's always like bot and spam attempts out there, but that's a pretty good firewall. People who want to join and intentionally are seeking out this thing will hopefully read the rules, select their roles, and that actually opens up you into the greater server. And there's the basic stuff. You've got your crew general chat. We started up a crew 2 chat when that was all formed, and that's taken off. That's a whole other sort of personality for the server is crew 2, the capybaras. You've got your match day chat, for the actual live in-game conversation. A couple linked sort of listserv like feeds for certain crew accounts, reporters, etc. on Twitter, on Reddit.
Mm-hmm.
You can make predictions. I could go on. There's like a bunch of different channels.
Yeah. You go on.
Okay.
It's awesome.
I'm not trying to
I'm
stop
looking at
you.
it and I'm super impressed.
Yeah, it's and even outside of the crew stuff, I'm really excited about, and I think that's where I cut a lot of my own teeth in the Discord. But anyways, back to we've got a predictions channel. There's like a media sharing channel because, as we were talking before we started the recording, there's a good contingent of us who now starts hanging out at games IRL, and it's really exciting.
Yeah.
It varies depending on who's in town, but to see sort of the internet friends come together in the 3D space has been fun and exciting. And again, I like to think we've got good people, and it's always been good times with them. Got our ticket hub, if you want to try to sell or you're looking for tickets, plug.
Awesome.
Most people are selling them at cost, if not better, just because, hey, we just want to get people into the games and have a good time. There's a new feature we've started exploring, and this is how we start getting into the less crew things. So that all the channels I just mentioned are pretty centric on the crew itself, which of course is the heartbeat of the community. But the other channels that sort of talk about the community itself, there's a lot of threads that have been coming up. Some people are talking about starting an indoor team at Resolute for the winter session. There's a few of us playing in the Nordec Cup this weekend that we have a whole thread for. Then there's sort of your Discord bread and butter, like an off-topic channel. There's like a music thread within there. There's your introducing yourself chat. There's our shitposting channel, which is my favorite, I think. Just dumb memes constantly, stupid stuff, ridiculous.
I'm here for it.
Yeah. Then we've got our sort of other world of soccer and sports in general. So we have a lot of attention towards a lot of other soccer minutia and niches, however you want to, insert yourself. There's the MLS and other domestic leagues chat. There's a national teams chat. There's a chat dedicated to the Columbus Eagles. And a chat dedicated.
I just saw
awesome.
that one. That's cool.
Oh, yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
We're glad to have that for sure. We've got a Blue Jackets
Tracy's
chat
wife
too.
used to play.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, my wife
Right on.
played for about a season with them.
Oh nice.
So, but
That's
she was
awesome.
a little bit older
That's
at
cool.
the time.
She
used to work for the crew too.
That's dope.
That's awesome.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Tell her to get in the channel.
Crew
Brag
also
about it.
not crew too. Yeah, no, she's a much better interview than I am. But
Good for her. That's awesome.
So I'm an out of towner. How much of your contingent is remote fans?
I'd say a lot, a really good amount. Some of our most active people are probably out of town.
I mean, talk about yourself, Travis. That's
I mean, I was an out of towner for a long time. I moved here just to hang out with the people because I was tired of driving 2 hours every time for a week, or not every week, but every time I wanted to go to a game. Kyle and I didn't even know each other before Discord or before I became a fan. Kyle and I met on Discord. I hung out with him, and we've just been hanging out ever since.
Where are you from?
Originally came from Elyria, which is about, if anyone doesn't know, it's about 30 minutes west of Cleveland.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's 1,233 people that are like on the server. So
yeah.
I mean, it's
one of the roles you can select is a remote supporter. Because
I did that.
Yeah. So perfect. It indicates that you're out of town. I myself am running away. Sadly, escaping to Colorado next year, which is bittersweet. New beginnings, all that. That doesn't matter too much to this chat, but I'll be a remote. Yeah, hello. I'll be a remote supporter myself in the next year.
Yeah,
or so.
you and Zardes.
Yeah. Hey, it's
Yeah, you and Zardes, a Bubakar.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Both of Bubakars.
We'll have to see what the Apple arrangement's like, but I have found being out of town very conducive to getting you can watch the games pretty easily on ESPN.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's just like
Well,
it's
now.
always there unless they're in town, and then you're blacked out.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Apple
But,
coming in swooping it should be fine.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think Discord probably is like the perfect thing for out of towners, just because it kind of makes you feel at home when you're watching a game. It's like you're able to be with all your friends watching a game and just be able to talk while watching and just kind of discuss stuff.
Yeah, I mean, for me, that's kind of like how I have stayed involved with the crew, because I lived in Columbus for 30 years and moved in 2015. But I had group text with Ben and Hawes basically since I moved, and we were texting every game.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think they had a parallel thread with the other guy, with Trey and with Mort, who I've never met Mort. And I think those Ben and Hawes got tired of having two conversations. They're like, we got to pull this together, man.
That's exactly what
So so, and I'm thankful for that, because as the outsider, I think I could have easily just been cast away, you know? So I've been on a group thread with these guys. I didn't meet Mort until we did our first episode of this podcast.
Wow.
And now they're married.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Come on in, honey.
Oh, he's so pretty. Prettiest boy around.
But I recognize and appreciate the importance of the community from a distance, you know?
Yeah. And so the Discord came out in 2018, right before the pandemic. So, I mean, everybody's locked up with their computers. So
Yeah.
it's kind of good timing.
Pandemic was a huge,
Yeah.
boon for it.
Oh, yeah.
To get a little bit into my soccer history, I know, Travis, you really only became a fan in like 2018. I only really became a fan. I went to one match in 2015 and I really enjoyed it, but just I hadn't really dipped my toe into soccer. When they saved the crew, I'm like, all right, let's try this out. Like, let's give it a fair shake. If I don't like it, I don't like it.
That's awesome.
And that's actually right when I joined the Discord, because it's like, okay, like, let's get on Reddit. Let's sort of seek out these communities, and I had just sort of started my Discord journey personally in the last year. I was like, oh, cool, Discord, I like that. Then I jump in and was very clear, like, hey, I'm new to soccer. Let's do this together. And
it's so positive and accepting. It was just,
yeah.
It was just, I don't know. It's just such an awesome community. I've been super impressed being an old man looking at this, like, man, these guys rule. Guys and girls.
Yep.
Yeah.
Important.
The old timer contingent is growing.
Yeah. Growing into their graves.
Yeah. Well, that's actually what I was going to kind of reference, is the fact of, I think Himmel started going to games in 07, 08 ish. I started, I haven't missed a home game since 10. Yeah. And Ben has a long history of following the team. He inaugural season 96 ish, and then fell off and then came back in 9, 10, 11. I think what I'm getting to is that, like, we've seen a lot of stuff come and go, and a lot of it has been so negative, so divisive. So it's good to see the flip of that. It's good to see positive energy coming in with different topics and fun topics and people that don't want to buy into the hate. You know, like, we love the team. Like, we're not a team. We're not a podcast that's going to come on and bash people. Like, we'll be truthful if we like the performance or not. Yeah, we're a little rough on Hurtado, but it's good to see a space that's positive.
Yeah,
you know,
and
especially
it's still the internet. It has its messy moments sometimes. You know, we deeply imperfect, and that comes from the mod team down to just any old member. But, you know, at the end of the day, I think we do try to self-regulate, try to sort of say, hey, why are we here again? And if there are bad actors, of which they've been very few over the years, and we've tried to give a lot of chances. I don't want to single anyone out, because there's a lot of folk I still see sort of on the streets of the internet, just out and about, and I don't want it to be awkward, but it's like, you know, had your chance, and we tried. It's tricky. It's tricky, but yeah. But we do our best. We're trying.
It's positive for the majority of it. But if you ever next year when you're watching a game and you want to come to match day, come visit it after we've drawn in the 90th minute.
Yeah.
Or if we lose. Then people will show their emotional upset side, which is fair.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's raw.
Totally.
That's
absolutely
what should happen.
It's a fan get it out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm one of those people that does it.
Yeah.
I think we were recording.
Thing.
I think we recorded a few episodes like post game, real fresh.
Yeah.
And it's hard not to,
the tears are on the mic,
get a little jaded about the, you just spend an hour and a half, 2 hours watching a game and you're disappointed and not surprised again. And I get that.
We were never down and then we tied. We've beaten this dead horse, but we were just like, we were winning.
So Travis, you're from Illyria.
Yeah.
How did you end up getting? Tell us your crew origin story.
Actually, it also started on Discord, just not the crew Discord. It started on my own personal Discord with my bunch of anime friends. One of them's from Australia, and this one night I was up late, 2 a.m, and he just started talking about soccer. So I started asking him questions, and I finally figured out how the clock worked. And I'm like, oh, so that's how it works. It goes up. And I didn't know that for the longest time.
But it stops at 90.
And then it stops.
It will not go past 90.
If you're at the stadium, it doesn't go. They don't make clocks that go past 90.
Well, no. In Columbus, they don't. They do make them. Other stadiums go past 90.
I don't think they do.
Columbus does not.
Field here, but
one day science will find a way.
Okay, so and were you in Columbus by then?
No, I was still in Illyria.
Australia.
Actually, yeah, he's from Australia. He talked to me because we played video games together and we watch anime, so we talked about anime sometimes. But he told me to go. I'm like, oh, is there a league in America? He's like, oh, MLS. I'm like, oh, is there a team in Ohio? He's like, yeah, I think so. And he didn't know for sure because I don't blame him. He's in Australia. So I looked up the next day.
And no one. I mean, that would surprise me if anyone knew the MLS teams from overseas.
Well, the very next day, I looked up Ohio soccer teams, and the very first result was Columbus Crew to move to Austin. I was like, oh, that was fast.
Well, see you later.
I was like, and growing up with a Browns fan family and all
there
that,
you go.
I'm like, well, we've seen this before, so I kind of just threw it away after that. But I think like a month later or something like that, I checked again. They're like, oh, there's a movement going on. So I kind of just kept following, and then 2018 season came around, and I went to the home opener for my first game. That's my roommate at the time with me. He didn't even care. He's like, I just want to go drink. I'm like, okay, that's fine. So he went drunk. And, yeah. We would sit in the Nordeck and sat right behind the drum section and partied, and we won. I think it was Vancouver. We beat 3-2 because Giazzi scored the winning goal for a PK, like the 85th.
Not the tying goal. Interesting.
Yeah, 3-2.
It was a better season.
After that, I got pretty hooked.
So you guys became like stronger fans like during the movement, after the movement. Man, I wish I could have been a fan at that time, like starting to be a fan at that time, because that was, I mean, you'll never have that again. Most people will never have that. Like, you had the Browns that moved to Baltimore and then back. Overseas, Wimbledon moved to MK Dons, and then that whole story is absolutely bonkers. And I'm gonna probably do an entire podcast on that because they became like fan owned.
Oh yeah,
like held tryouts at a bar, and now they've built a team that's in like the 5th division or something.
And like a new stadium too, right? They're like at League One, I think.
Yeah,
League
Plow Lane.
Yeah,
but that time I think it was something like October of 17. I think it was, memory serves, could be wrong, approximately 7 days between the time that the United States were eliminated from the World Cup and the team. I think the U.S. was called first. I could be misremembering it, but like it was just like, how is that possible? And then your team is going away. And for me, I am, I'm not really affiliated with any pro sports teams. I grew up in Columbus, so not a Browns fan, not a Bengals fan. I watch NFL, but and I got into the crew before I was married. I've got kids, and all they know is the yellow soccer team, and that team is going away. It was a dark time.
Dad, why are you crying?
It's like the only team I care about is going away, and man, the way that unfolded is just so significant and so incredible. It's great. It's great that we're doing this and we still have a team. I mean, you just as much as you could complain about a result or what, it's like dying on the table and getting brought back to life,
Yeah. Yep. But man, to get into it during that coming up is just I envy
it's compelling.
You guys
it's
so
compelling. So Kyle, is your timeline similar?
Yeah. I mean, I it's funny, when they announced,
you said 1 game in 15, but
yeah, I had that 1 game in 15 and I was like, oh, cool. That I started following on Twitter. Then okay, we're Twitter official now. This is the team I root for. So, and actually the first game I ever went to was 2015 against New England, 2-1 win. We got tickets on, I think, SeatGeek for $22 a piece, 3 rows up from the field near the center. And
they were handing them out.
Yeah, that was great. It was fantastic. Really great way to sort of kick it all off. And then first televised match I ever watched was actually the 15 Cup final. We don't need to get into that, obviously.
We don't.
But yeah, I didn't really consume any of it until that Grant Wall tweet, where it's oh, Austin. Crap.
Yeah.
And I'm the kind of guy who I thrive on just weird encyclopedic sports knowledge that sort of crosses all borders from sport to sport. And I think just because my family sort of knew that, they're like, "Oh, Kyle, how do you feel about because you talk a lot about these things? How do you feel about the crew moving? And how do you think it's going to happen?"
You have a heart, Kyle. What do you think?
And I'm like, I don't.
He doesn't.
Oh, yeah, it's a veneer. No, I'm like, I don't know. One, I do like this team. I don't know jack about soccer at this time. I hope it stays. And saw a lot of weird, after that, a lot of people who asked me for help and knowledge and insight who did it because they didn't have any of their own, heard 3 weeks later saying they're definitely going to move. The writing's on the wall. I'm like, it was a really strange time of discourse, but I think that from being in a weird and being in an unexposed, my circle at the time had really no soccer literacy. But that sort of pulled me in slowly, just because it was, it was a hot topic. But again, when sort of the bell rang and they said it's staying, we've got a new ownership group and all that. I was like, okay, yeah, let's give this a shot. I've been invested in this storyline. I've wanted them to stay because this is, a big pro sports thing. I've been a big Blue Jackets fan most of my life. That was my first true pro sports love. So I'm like, yeah, I want the other major pro team in my city to thrive. That's how we thrive together. After that, the first did I run into you in the 2019 opener or 2020, Travis? Was that when we came together?
It was 2019, and I think
I think no, 2019. No, I got tickets with a friend. But 2020 was when I was like, hey, Travis, I'm going to the home opener. I have season tickets now. You want to come? Let's do this. And it was you, me, Brad, and that Red Bulls fan who was in town.
Yeah.
Who I've never seen since outside.
Wait,
of that
Travis,
weekend.
You don't know that guy's name either?
His name's Joe.
I only knew Kyle.
For the record.
Quick question: were we playing the Red Bulls at least?
No, it was NYCFC. Oh. So he was. So he had a vested interest. He just happened to be in town that
Sounds
weekend.
Like a New Yorker.
Yeah. Which is
it's March 2020.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that would have been we had one game before the pandemic stuff hit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, they played in Seattle the next week, and then that's when everything went kaput.
One last thing I want to touch on the Discord deck is I actually do kind of get a decent amount of information quickly, like about the team, about whoever. Like the last pod we had, I spoke about the Costa Rican Luis, and that was posted in the Discord, which is funny because it could just be rumors. Like it could have just been like Travis, like, hey, hit Ben with that idiot stuff, and I'm like, oh, this is real. But it's like I get the quickest information there, and it's always like, you know, positive and like fact checked and stuff like that. Because I think I posted something in there about Bez using city money in Toronto to bring somebody in, and I think Connor's like, oh, cool, prove it. And I was like, ooh, all right. I was like, I'm pretty sure now. I could be lying. I could be full of crap.
Yeah, if you post something, there's usually someone else who's not too busy that will go fact check it and find out more, and then report back. Car alarm going on in my background.
Nope. Did you have to go? Did your Uber here?
It's all good.
That's not even your house. You're just like, I just borrowed this mic and just run up. Travis got arrested during the pod. It's like, yeah, nice guy.
First for everything, right?
So yeah, Kyle, you follow. So Discord deck. We'll put a link out there in all of our socials and stuff like that. And if you want an invite, you can just email us at upper90clubpod@gmail.com. But do you guys follow any other soccer teams, football teams, any of that stuff? I know you follow Blue Jackets, Kyle.
Yeah. I as part
Connor
of
follows Chelsea, and
we don't need to talk. That's everyone has flaws. I as part of my let's go try out soccer journey, in late 2018, I bought FIFA 19. I'm like, all right, when I was a little kid and learned football and hockey, I did it through the video games because I lived in the middle of nowhere, and besides high school football, like I didn't get to see these sports a lot. So I was like, okay, same logic applies. Let's get FIFA. Let's sort of learn the game. My God, Travis, you got to go. Yeah. Sorry, man. You got it.
I'm gonna close my window, at least.
Don't worry.
Don't worry. Literally everything's
it's me. I'm out there honking the horn.
Thank God.
That's right.
Yeah.
You got it right. Mute that guy.
I mean, I'm keeping it in.
He's a menace. FIFA 19, and me being just the weird sports nerd I am, I was like, I want to know everything about every league, how it works, these domestic cups, these continental competitions. And I just I could have spent hours just clicking through every team and looking at their logo and their jerseys and saying like, oh, cool. That was pretty cool. And I did actually, probably more times than I would like to admit. But I went searching for a Premier League team to sort of call my own, watch throughout the winter to sort of watch real soccer leading up to the MLS season in 2019. And I actually went on a 2-month dedicated search, which I vetted all my options. I knew I didn't want to go for a top 6 club. They needed to look good.
I'm so excited.
I'm a huge jersey collector.
This is the moment where we.
Yeah, this is great.
Well, I have literally 70 jerseys behind me across all sports. So the sports aesthetic thing is a huge part of why I like sports. That's a huge way I engage with it. So they had to look good, logo and jersey.
Did you have a scorecard? What was the criteria?
I didn't really have a scorecard, but I kept a list just on my phone notes.
Okay.
Here's the teams that I have positive feelings about. I toyed with Fulham for a while. I went. So
hold on. I got more questions. Was the elimination fluid, or were there rounds?
It was fairly fluid. I don't want to get your hopes up.
You were at 19 teams, and then you were this one, that one, they can go. Yeah, Burnham or whatever, a Blackburn,
Blackburn, champions.
That's right. Yeah, I did.
All right, so
I flirted with a championship too because I'm like, okay, I'm an Ohio Bobcat. I love mid-major college football and stuff. So it's the championship is mid-major college sports in a weird way of it's a little bit scrappy. It's fun and a little bit.
Yeah, I went to OU too.
Yeah, it's hard nosed. Definitely hard nosed.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, I've got my guess. I'm
Yeah, I want to guess. I want to guess. I'm pretty pumped. And you said you flirted with Fulham, so Fulham was in my head because I was like, full America. It's got the American thing, McBride's Bar,
Crystal Palace.
No,
that was yours.
Palace was also up there. As one, I would say Fulham and Palace were among the top 5. Yeah. Any other guesses out
No.
there? I mean, I think I just sort of
Come on,
spoiled
Ben.
the fact that I responded.
Travis, do you know?
Oh, I know.
Oh yeah, he's doing the
he
look.
said
He's like,
old
I know.
stadium, Ben.
Yeah.
Old
And
stadium,
not exclusively old
not
stadiums.
top 6.
Yeah, not top 6.
Not
had
top
to look
6.
good. Another qualifier was like, I didn't want to like a
Newcastle.
team that would seem like a bottom feeder, which
Okay.
at the time maybe was
Everton.
a little
Ironic.
bit of Newcastle.
Yeah, I was thinking either Newcastle or Everton.
Yeah, those were in the conversation. I think
None
those
of
kind
those.
were eliminated in the top 10. Well, it
It's going to be
was
Barcelona and like Man City.
said. It
And
was said. I
tell
glossed
us
over
who-
it. Yeah, let's stop. Dancing around. It is Wolves. Trey got it.
Yes.
Oh, it's
yeah,
Wolves!
Got it. You got it.
Oh,
Yeah,
Hey,
the colors didn't hurt.
No issues.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
No,
The colors didn't hurt.
you're right.
No one hates them except for like West Brom, but screw them.
Yeah.
I think one of like the first games at lower.com, I was it Travis who I turned to? I was like, I saw a West Brom jersey, I'm gonna kick his ass. On the virtues exclusively of Wolves. But no, it like
Oh, the Midlands.
the black country
Yeah.
can't be beat.
Yeah.
It just like
Adama
aesthetically
Traore is
fun.
awesome. I love watching that guy play.
I've got that was
The
that was the
muscle.
first shirt I bought. Was it Traore
Really?
shirt?
Okay.
Yeah. Because
I love that dude.
yeah, and he's like one of those players that's just like a cult hero and is like not a true hero and
Yeah.
like in how like a lot of teams have players that like took them over the hump, but like that dude's so cool. He's so cool.
Yeah, he's just like one muscle.
Right.
So yeah, watching like if I
Reached
saw
up, running.
if I just see silhouettes of people, I'm like, there's Adame.
Yep,
There he is. Yep, that guy.
Awesome.
And Raul, I can't. So Travis, do you follow any of these foreign teams?
Kyle was very organized with his selection process, and in my mind, I started as that way, where I didn't want to be a top tier team. But the first team I watched was Liverpool, and they had Salah, Mane, and
That's fine.
Firmino on the other side. And I'm like, well, I
Yeah.
fell in love with that. I'm like, you guys are just too much fun. And then I learned more, and I found out how just I like history in clubs, like clubs that had like a lot of like storied history, and like one of the top clubs that had like the most history. And then
Yeah, it's Liverpool.
and then Klopp. He's the most animated, fun coach to ever watch, and I would follow him anywhere. Like whatever team he
love
goes
that
to
dude.
next, I will watch that team just for him.
100%.
And that's what happened.
Yeah, I've actually I bought clear glasses because he was wearing them for the entire season, like a turd. And no, Tracy knows because I have these at work. They're actually the circle ones he wears, and I put them on, and I'm like, nah, I don't look as good as Klopp.
Yeah, I came into the EPL roundabout like when Rooney and Scholes and Beckham and that class, so early 2000s, so I mean, I just picked up following United, but
They were the only team that won.
they were the only
It
team
was
that
like-
consistently played on American
Yeah.
television
Yeah.
at the time.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
all it was, and they were good. They were
Yeah.
fun to watch. I mean, it's just been painful.
Was
Alex
that Ferguson?
Ferguson.
That was Ferguson was coaching too.
Alex Ferguson.
Yeah, Ferguson was
man.
coach. But
Jeez.
everybody on the pod knows that like my theory when it comes to like the EPL is anybody
Yep.
but Chelsea. So like,
I agree.
Subscribe.
I can handle. I love watching Liverpool play. Arsenal's been really fun this year.
Nope.
City for all their money, whatever.
Me and Haas, and we played music with a couple guys. We started watching World Cup in 06, and that's when we got hooked. And honestly, I wasn't big into gaming, or I wasn't into gaming as much as they were, but I lived with them, and they got FIFA, whatever it was, 06, or and we had like a TV. Haas had a second TV that they were playing FIFA at the same time as we were watching the World Cup games. Those games, I think 06 was in Germany, and so the games were on pretty early, and we just got hooked, between the playing and the World Cup. And the U.S. was in a group with Italy, and maybe Ghana. I can't remember who else was in that
Always
group,
Ghana.
but-
It was Ghana until like
yeah.
2016
Yeah.
or 2014.
But so at that time, I don't remember what the channels were, but like, yeah, there was EPL and it was always Man U, Chelsea. I like to watch Everton because Tim Howard was on Everton, and so like I kind of used to root for them. Dempsey played for Fulham, right? So yeah, so I mean, yeah, I can relate. They also for several years they played Serie A games, and so we watched like, you know, Totti and Pirlo, who I think he was probably in MLS in 17-18, right? New York City FC. He was number 10 there for a couple of years. Anyway, I can relate, man. It just it was the FIFA, it was the World Cup. I think always brings in new fans.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Women's World Cup when I was in my sort of new fan journey, that's 2019. That was a great moment. That was a great sequence to watch.
So, are you guys doing anything to keep the fire burning on the Discord during the off season?
We do have some sort of. I was gonna say we have some coals in the fire as far as off-season plans. I talked earlier about how I don't like to talk about like the server as like growth, because that's never been our goal. But we've had a lot of great organic growth in this past year and a half, especially 2022 though. And it's like how do we sort of keep cultivating and engaging and just keep the communitying,
Yeah.
The first thing, obviously, I think there's a few folks who might be getting together for MLS Cup final this weekend. I'm out, sadly, but that's sort of the big first thing. I know the World Cup is going to be a big moment for a lot of folks. There's of course a lot of the ancillary channels, some that I didn't even get to earlier with like other leagues, other sports. A lot of us kind of find our sub friendships and subgroups. There's one guy who went to Kent State, Dan San07. And being a fellow Mac grad, about the same age as me, we've latched onto Mac shit a lot in this fall, just with like our college football affinities. There's President Bird, who is a swimmer in college at Denison, and shares like a lot of random like swimming things and swimming facts and like records and incredible performance and stuff. So like there's a lot of other things happening in people's lives that. I mean, I'm the one who just kind of forced all my garbage onto other people in those channels, so I hope others do too. So I think that's one really organic, natural.
But that's awesome.
Yeah, that the community stays alive.
Yeah, that's what makes it like super eclectic. Like you have one solid thing, and then you can expand. It's not just like, Travis. I know that you said you were like into anime, and you were into like you had your own gaming channel, and that's kind of how you got started in Discord. Like that's awesome because as soon as we started, you mentioned gaming, and I was like, your mic's awesome. He's like, I game, and I was like, let's talk games because I'm also like super nerding out on all that stuff
for off-season plans.
And
there's one more thing. And it's tentative right now. I'm planning to do an off-season party for anyone who wants to early January. Hopefully at Game Arena. I'm not sure if the Hilliard one or the Short North one so far. I sent the email out today to Game Arena to see about events and all that because one place does a whole private room, the other place you can just do whatever. But nice. Game Arena is
by the way.
Yeah, well, I've talked about it before, so it's not.
I mean, you talked it,
but yeah,
But you took that first step today. That's exciting.
It is like an actual thing I want to do is an off-season party just to help keep things going, keep people interested, keep people like knowing that we still want to hang out even when the season's over.
Oh, and going the extra mile for something like that is, that kind of thing turns into a tradition, it sounds like you guys, I mean, you're members of this community, right? But it sounds like you're also cultivating the growth and importance of it, So
yeah, you got a bunch of random stuff. It just seems like an island of misfits that just like, a positive misfits that are just like that just all hang out and have like common interests and not common interests, and it's just kind of like it's just super cool. Like that's where I reached out to you guys first. I have some other interviews scheduled, but I was like, this is special. Like, let's get these guys on.
Nice.
Well, I'm looking forward to, real time in season activity too, right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't join till after our season ended, but I'm excited to be part of the community when we kick off next year.
Yeah. Another thing we're sort of working towards, and this is more like on a housekeeping note, to not only engage people on like the fun stuff, but again, with size, we want to make sure that it's a fair sort of democratic world for all the members. Like we'll take credit for the Capybara brand starting in Discord. But the way it's kind of bled out into the real world has become very organic. There's a lot of folks who you can say they have some sort of part in that. And in that sort of tradition, that kind of caused us to look inward and say, okay, with this taking on, the Capybrava becoming a whole thing in the real world, the server growing, a lot more voices are going to be sort of tuning in. How do we make sure that the small council is not just overpowering that? So we're kind of exploring some sort of off-season town hall ideas. We talked about that a few weeks ago, and it's gone dormant just because life and work and fall being busy. But that's something that I want to take sort of a stab at. As Travis just, like Travis said, I'm the kind and thoughtful mod during the season, but in the off season, he can do the fun game night stuff. I'll do the okay, let's talk about ourselves.
I'm the fun uncle.
That's right.
Yeah, right, Travis. You're the hammer.
Right.
You're off the server, and you're off the server.
Don't look at me wrong.
Okay, so we talked about it earlier, and yes. I will endorse joining the Discord. How do we do it?
Yeah, we've got a couple social media links. I know you were gearing up for it, Travis. I jumped right on top of it. Sorry, I'm here for business. Well, Discord Deck has a Twitter. We have an Instagram. That one's not doing much just because we're not a visual content thing. It's a lot of textual stuff, and it feels too meta to do too much Instagram stuff. But Instagram and Twitter, Discord Eka, it's Discord Eka. Spelling's pretty obvious. If you mess it up, that's okay. You'll find your way there. But the direct link, discord.gg/crew96. That's discord.gg/crew96. Join today.
All right, that's all we have for the interview with Travis and Kyle from the Columbus Crew Discord server. Big thanks to those guys for joining the club and being the guinea pigs for our evergreen content series, Stoppage Time. Go Crew!
Would you want to do like a full sleeve instead?
She upsold you.
Yeah, she really did.
I know you just want to say business casual, but do you want to piercing? You're like, no, that's not why I came here. It's like, I'm just throwing it out there.
No, Kyle, that's exactly how I ended up with my whole back tattoo.